visits now. We live at the foot of Zomba Mountain. We took a trip up there just this week.
Hi friends, we understand everybody is pretty much homebound these days with COVID-19 floating around, and so since everything's happening virtually, we thought we'd take you on a little bit of a virtual tour, get you out of the house and show you a little bit of the beauty that we're surrounded with. We took a day off and came up our mountain.
The spot that you're seeing right now is about 19 kilometers from our house, but when Chris and I went up, we took our bikes, so it took us about twice as long as it took the rest of the family in the car. And since we were going more or less straight up the side of a mountain, our elevation gain was over 1,000 meters, which is quite significant for a ride like that.
So down here below us you can see the main town of Zomba, the city of Zomba, and off to the left over here, that's the suburbs, that's where we live, one of the suburbs, and off in the distance is all village area. You can see this sort of a crater-shaped mountain back here. We visit villages off to the left of that mountain, all along behind that mountain, and somewhat to the right of that mountain. Just after our arrival back in Malawi, I was able to do some training and preaching and had some really great plans, but recently I've done very little traveling to villages. In late March, the government declared a state of disaster just before Corona officially hit Malawi. But Africa hasn't been hit as hard as North America with Corona, probably because we have fewer travelers here. Some people predict that things will get much worse. Others believe that it won't be as bad. Our concern is not so much for ourselves, but we're very concerned for Malawi because social distancing is much harder for Africans in general than for Westerners, and we ourselves find it plenty difficult. Add to that the fact that among the people we work with in villages, constant hand washing will be very difficult because people don't have running water and soap is a luxury item. And there are many people with tuberculosis and HIV, so we're praying for God's mercy and would appreciate if you would join us in prayer.
As for me, as you can probably tell, I am back in Malawi. I flew back here about 5 weeks ago after classes shut down, and although I have been in self-isolation, it's been really great to reconnect with family and reconnect with Malawi a little bit. And it was actually a huge blessing because not only did the university reimburse those of us who were in residence, but they also gave some of us financial aid for flying back to our home countries. So God's really just been providing. And even though these are uncertain times, we're really excited to see where he takes us over the course of the summer and into next year.
All in all, our everyday life really hasn't changed too much. If you live on a small farm, there's always lots of work you can find to keep yourself busy. We still homeschool just like before, and Malawi really doesn't have many non-essential businesses that had to close. Before Corona, we went to the big city shopping about once every 2 months, and so we still do that. It means we don't have to get out very often, and we stock up in between trips just like before. The biggest difference for us really is that we don't go to church anymore, and there are no meetings or birthday parties, etc. But if you know Dean, you know that he can't stop teaching. So he finds opportunities to teach wherever he goes, whether it's on the phone talking to a village leader or even just teaching the guys that come and work for us. He always finds opportunities. For a while, his main focus became Corona education. He printed out some pamphlets that we found online from the WHO in the local language, and he traveled to villages and visited the chiefs and spread the message far and wide. And the chiefs were very appreciative, saying that even though they'd heard about it on the radio, they really didn't know what Corona was or how they could protect their people. So they were very grateful.
One final praise note. Before Corona concerns really hit, Malawi had its first Champs Conference, a Foundations for Farming gathering for mutual fellowship, encouragement, and teaching. Over 70 representatives and leaders from various ministries came from all over Malawi. I'd like to share some of their testimonies with you as we show you some footage from our trip down the mountain. One farmer confided that people used to look down on him because he was very poor, but then he started using Foundations for Farming in 2015. He went from harvesting 18 bags of maize to 20, then 33. He was able to sell enough maize to finish his house using cement instead of mud. People marveled. 3 other people then followed his example, then 10, and now there are more. But it isn't all just about farming. People are also being brought to Christ and discipled. One pastor reported that at first people thought he'd gone mad, but after persevering, now 350 people are learning better farming, families are being built up, and husbands are staying with their families. In another area, populated mostly by Muslims, loving people through farming has broken through opposition and opened many doors. 4 Muslim chiefs have been baptized. One of them confessed that before knowing Jesus, he had sent curses to harm other people, but now he is teaching better farming and sharing about Jesus. All of these stories were so encouraging. It's really great to hear about lives being changed in both practical and spiritual ways, that we are not alone in this ministry, and that real change is happening and taking hold.
We hope you enjoyed that small glimpse into our life in Africa. We thank you so much for your prayers and support. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
This is